Hello. It's been quite a while since I've actually uploaded on my YouTube, and you might be wondering, or you may not be, or you don't even care about me or something like that, but you may be wondering what I was doing while at the time I was not on YouTube and was doing random shit, actually. There wasn't really that much to do. I just did like streaming on Twitch, probably. I streamed a lot on Twitch, and I played a lot of games. Distance was one. Let's say another one was Trove. Another one was Ozu, Twilight, BMS Simulator, and those kind of stuffs. Rhythm games and RPGs, racing games also, and a little bit of Tetris. I was trying to learn Tetris, but that was what I was doing. And the reason for not uploading YouTube videos was because my hard disk drive and SSD has got fucked, basically, but by the smart error, and all my data is gone from it. I will try to recover it, but I don't really have that much high hope on it, actually. So I'm starting fresh from a new laptop, and I didn't have the chance to actually begin and create all new stuffs and all that, and I had to recover a lot of the data that I had on before. So the reason why I was inactive in YouTube and in both music creating side was because of how I was trying to recover all the damage that was done on my computer and on my database. Everything was gone. I don't have that much projects anymore like I did before. And plus, because everything is gone, my gameplay data on Pokemon Dark Energy and my Vital only using trance making is gone. So everything is gone. I can't do anything anymore. And what I can do though is to try and start something new that is maybe having some kind of interest to you guys. And I want to approach my YouTube in a way where it can bring interest to you all. So this video is about that. Why do I have an FL Studio in the front of me is because this video, as you can see from the title, is a tutorial of me trying to explain you how I make trance. And by trance and by everything, I mean like from scratch. Like I'll be using external synths though and external effects, but I'll be linking them, or not linking them, but naming them down in the description below so you will be able to get them. And throughout the videos there will be additional plugins, there will be additional synths that I use, so wait for those. But trance, there are a lot of stuff on trance. You can say hard trance is a thing, you can say emotional trance or uplifting trance, or euphoric trance is a thing, and the progressive trance is also a thing, psytrance, goa trance. There's so much trance, but what we're going to aim for today is to make uplifting trance, and what I'm going to use here is mainly the synths, Spire, and also let's say Nexus, just for the paths and everything, because Nexus's paths are really good if you just have the presets for it. So that's just it. And also VC5, this sample pack is really good for any genres in the electronic scene, I feel. This sample pack is really good, but I won't be using loops, although kicks and, well, cymbals, I would be using them, of course, because they are percussions and essential part of trance. Although I might use loops just to add a little bit of taste, but I will add some stored up shit that I can tell you when a loop should be used to progress the track. But let's begin by making a simple lead loop. Now, a lead loop, how would you create them from the beginning? And by Spire, I do have the user library here, and I have everything down there, but I would be using plugs, which is the factory sounds, basically. And these are really good, by the way, if you want to make some good trance tracks or house tracks, or maybe some kind of electro tracks that I can't really tell, then you can use the factory sounds on Spire, and it honestly really sounds good. So try them out. They are really good. I'm going to show you how they are good by checking out some of the sounds on here and trying to make a trance track from scratch. So, each tutorial will be sent into segments of how long it may be and how well it would do. For starters, it would be longer than 20 minutes, maybe this one, maybe 30 minutes, I'm not sure, but we're just going to set the basics and then continue on tomorrow or maybe another day. I'm not sure, but maybe we can continue this series and then show you guys how I make trance. Although I am not really good at producing, but maybe something can be taught from this, so I will just do this tutorial. Basically, is what I'm saying. So the goal here is to make a trance lead. Now, uplifting trance has quite a bit of diverse lead. You can call a simple saw lead a lead, or a simple pluckish lead that sounds like an ARP, but it isn't a lead. And, well, basically anything, but we're going to try and make the pluckish ARP lead, which is the easiest for me, but it may be different for others, but I will just say it's easier for me. So, to design them actually, the first is to design a pad synth, actually, in my mind, because of how essential it is to have a basic chord or chord that you can begin from, actually, if you want to do this thing. So, let's open up Nexus and see what we have in store. Now, Nexus here, I have a lot of presets and everything. It's from a pack that I got from someone, and basically it has a lot of awesome sounds, but these pads are basically just, well, just smooth ones, just the trenches ones, and maybe some orchestra ones. Let's see what happens, but we're going to use XP Trance Elements pack in this tutorial, because these are the essential of trance. You can just put in any of these and they will sound good, although I won't be using any synths from other than piano and pad from this. That's the only thing that I'm going to use from Nexus, and everything else will be designed on Spire or presets from Spire actually, but we'll see what happens. And in pad we're going to choose maybe it's in here, I'm not sure where it is, but I'm going to try and find it. Maybe it's on here. I'm looking for the orchestric feel of pad actually at the moment. It's kind of hard to find actually. Maybe it's in here. No, maybe it's an XP Trance. Oh dear, it is. Okay, so this is going to be a thing. I'm going to use this. And let me just bring up my MIDI keyboard, which is essential for listening to sounds on what a synth preset will sound like. It's really good for that case. So let me just turn on my MIDI keyboard and let's listen to some sounds. Now this doesn't sound really good, so we're going to change it to another thing. This doesn't really sound the way that I want it to as well, which is really weird because it's normally really easy to pick these, but here's one. This one sounds really good, but I have to give it some volume modification and then it will be ready for the massive sound that we want as a pad. So, I mean, we can combine sounds as well, but I'm going to focus on trying to use one sound and then modify it to the way where I want it to sound actually, rather than trying to make it into something that may sound, I don't know, compressed into one shit and then sound like massive as hell. But I don't really want that. I want a simple one that I can mix well. So that is what I'm going to go for. Let's make a simple pad, and here is the melodic part. I can't really help you with this. This comes from the side where you learn from experience of listening to trance, and experience of making trance as well. So it's all experience. You have to listen to more trance tracks of lifting trance in this case, and also try to make some trance leads and trance pads and all that, and make something like a sample pack would sound like will be very, very helpful for you actually in making trance. But in here, we're going to try and make something called a simple pad for trance. I don't think that's very clear, but let's just say that. So we're going to do D, which is, well, here. And it's going to be D minor. And Y minor, it's just because I feel like it. There's no big reason. But you can do major as well if you're good at making happy melodies. I'm good at making the euphoric and also maybe somewhat sad or maybe somewhat angry melodies, which is kind of negative, but I'm a negative person, so whatever. So that's just what I can make better than the others that try to make translates. Although I might not be good enough, but let's see what we can do on here. And keep in mind, this isn't a lead, this is a pad sound. Now, the pass sound at the moment sounds really microscopic to the pass sound we want, and it's also panned. Now, how are we going to make this into the pass sound that we want? That's the question here, and the answer to that is going to come up right now. And let me show you panning. Very simple technique. Just put it into the middle, and then make it sound middle. But don't pan it over to the other side as well, which is a mistake, common mistake by some people. So let's listen to the sound now. It feels very adjusted to the point where it will sound equal in here at the moment. Now, the thing also is, in here, we have to adjust the sound to a specific volume where it will sound like what a normal thing, what a normal pad sound will sound like. And at that point, we need to do some techniques. We need to do some techniques called adding a plugin. It's a really simple technique, it's just adding a distortion for me. So, do that, do that. Just the mix and thresh downwards from the defaults so that it won't sound really that holy shit, this is so loud kind of thing. Now here we go. It's a fruity fast distortion, the default plugin, and we made the pass sound a little bit more clearer. Now this may sound shit at the moment, but music in itself, or trance in itself, every essence of it may sound shit in the beginning, but when you combine them, that's when the sound is actually starting to sound good. So keep that in mind, and even though your sound may sound shit at the moment, when it's connected to everything, it may sound good. And that's how music is. So let's try a little bit more on the pad actually. And that technique is called, well, not technique, but something that I like to do. Extend the pad so that it would give more emotions. Which is really easily done. You can just drag them, do this, and then drag all of them, and then stretch. And that's the default pad sound, actually, that we're going to use. And keep in mind that I don't have any idea of what the fuck I am doing at the moment on music or melody side or music, what should I say, theory or stuff like that. I have no idea on what those are, but I am just composing from the ideas of what I had before, actually, and nothing more. So this is like a tutorial for basic users that doesn't really want to learn those, but wants to make music. So yeah, that's basically it. That's the pad sound. Now, this sounds louder and better, you might say, but it doesn't really sound thick. And to make it thick, as a meme is selected as well, but I use it actually as well. Sound goodizer. They say it's a meme, they say it's really some weird shit that you should never use if you're an actual producer. But to me, it's a hidden technique. Even if I put it in, and even if I send a track out, they don't even realize that I used this here. And when I say that I used it, then why did you use a meme on your music is what they say. But and basically, it sounds good if you just adjust it well. And if you just adjust it well, then it will sound way better than you might think it would. So why not use it? It makes the sound thicker, and white noise is added, which makes it sound a little bit more lighter as well. But you will have to mix it and also adjust the width on this as well, just to make it sound more clearer and less dangerous. So let's listen to the sound now. What we can hear from that is that Nexus's default reverb and everything, and every sound itself got bigger in size. And by bigger in size, and bigger in volume, and also size, basically. It just sounds thicker. And why is that done? It's because Sound Goodizer does a little bit of saturation, I believe, and also adds white noise, and well, it just compresses the shit out of it as well. So you have to be careful in putting this into some kind of a maxed out sound already, like already thick one, because it won't really work well. It will saturate and distort the sound too much that it will sound really bad sometimes. But in this case, the sound was really, really not thick at all. It was really something like what a string synth would sound like in a cheap synth. So we had to use this. And then by mixing, I mean like cutting off the higher part actually by low pass and then steep. And because the kick is going to be here and the bass as well, you might be better off with cutting off the bass line as well. Bass as well. Like this side. Oh damn, I shouldn't do that. You shouldn't put the equalizer up above that 0 if you're not sure with what you're doing at the moment. If you're sure, then you can do it. I don't really care. You might be better. You might be a better producer than me. Whatever, but this is what I do, and this is what I recommend, basically. So let's just do that and leave it there, and let's put the pad here just for reference, and let's make a new thing called lead. And here comes the lead writing, which is an essential part of any song, but in trance it's really essential as well. We're going to make it really, really quickly. And by quick, I mean like really quick. How, you may ask? I'm just gonna show you. Pluck. Now, in choosing from plucks, you have to make sure that when you increase the sustain, it sounds saw-ish. And when you do that, make sure that it doesn't sound the way that you don't want to, because when you try to change a sense that you pick for a lead, it will be hard to change after you progressed in the song because you're going to put a lot of automation on the synth itself just to continue on the song. And when you change it, sometimes the automation will mess your sound up, really. So change it from the beginning and set it perfectly that you won't really say anything more than it. So yes, let's try that actually. I'm not sure if that will work. I didn't say it will work, but let's just try that. Why not experiment when you have the chance? Now, to compare the sound and to listen to the lead more, we're going to set this as this, which is solo, and then listen to it again. That's not how I imagine my lead to be. So this can potentially work, but it doesn't work amazingly well. And it's hard to find a trance lead actually from a pluck. I just do it because sometimes there can be magic in here that can make your work really, really easier, but in this case, it's hard to find. Man, there's no sound that actually sounds like a translate. So let me adjust from the last sound, which is like this one maybe. And let me adjust some options on here actually. The default presets aren't really going to work for trance, at least from the default status for me. I'm not sure if it's the same for you, but I don't really find anything that really fits me from here at the moment. So let's try and do some shit, maybe. And then maybe we can say, oh, we got something. But I can't really find anything that can work. This technically somehow works. I feel like it. I feel like it does. But we'll see how it works, actually. And the next episode, maybe? No. I'm going to do all the setting up today for a basic loop where you can see how it works. Hopefully. If not, I can do it tomorrow. But today's video is going to be basically 30 minutes long, and we'll see how much I've done here. We don't have time, yeah. So we're just going to go and make a little bit of a bass line from all of these, and then call it a day, probably. We're going to do the else, which is the percussion picking, kick picking, and then making a head loop, and then making a breakdown. No, not breakdown, but a lead part or a loop. Simple loop where we can find if this works or this doesn't. But let's do that when we can actually, and we have actually an idea that we can begin from. So let's just pick basses. Now, trance basses can be really something diverse that you make. It's not really set to a certain sound that you do. This will be extended in next part of the tutorial. I'm just going to do it myself and then send it to here, which is the lead part, and send it to the piano roll on here. But at the moment I'm going to leave it on pad because it's easier to easier to design the lead how it goes when I have references here at the moment. It's really easier to use this actually, so use it. If you don't use it, then you're a dunce, but if you use it, then you're smart. So just do it. It makes your life easier. And let's just make a bass sound actually. It's going to be a rolling bass. And in bass, there's quite a technique that you might want to use as well, which is maybe you want to separate it into a mid bass and a low bass, where you may make it separated so that it will sound more fat, but you can use a mid bass and put some bass into there and call it a day as well. It just really doesn't really make that much of a difference, but maybe you can create something really creative from a separated bass, and that will work. So what I'm going to try now is make a mid bass and then decide if I'm going to do a normal bass line or a low bass as well. When I want to actually continue on with this, because at the moment it's like 2:50 a.m., which is very, very dark and night, and also the sun is going to come up in 5 hours, so I have to sleep, but I'm making this video, so whatever. But yeah, not a normal bass line, but it's like a different one, per se. There's no normal bass lines. All of them are normal. They work. If they work, then they're normal. If they don't, then they're... Why are you even making them? But whatever. We're just going to make the default rolling bass line, which is shaped like this. Now, I've just made the line first because I want to listen to the sound while I listen to the bass line loop, actually, because it's easier to pick from the sounds if I do this. Alright, this works. I didn't really expect for me to actually find a sound that quickly, but it's 30 minutes, so it's gonna be it. I'm gonna pick the next sounds next time when I record this, and I'm going to hopefully try and upload more videos into YouTube. Hopefully, I want to upload more videos to YouTube before my time runs out and I have to go to military, which really fucking sucks, but I have to do it eventually. It's a nation thing, so whatever. But yeah, this video is done. I will be seeing you guys next time when I re-upload and do some stuff, maybe. But hopefully this video was useful information, although I can't really see anything useful from this. If you have any questions down below, if you have any questions from this video, then ask them down below. Maybe I've lost some parts, maybe I've really skipped some parts, maybe I've not answered your questions well. Then I will have to reply to you again in the comments. But I'm really willing to help anyone that actually looks at this tutorial and wants to learn trance, because, well, let's face it, trance is getting smaller. It's not small, it's huge still, but it's getting smaller from the last glory, and we want new recruits really well. So I want to give help to the new recruits that may join next time. So we will just call it a thing here, and then if you have any extra questions, then ask them in the comments. If I'm not sleeping and if I don't have anything busy at the moment, then I will be able to reply to you. So just do that, and I will be seeing you guys in next time when I try to record a video again. And that'll be it. Alright, see ya guys, and take care.